Ahoy hoy folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here then welcome, if you're not new then welcome back. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but today I've cracked out one of my little tiny mini canvases and we're going to do a mini master study. So if you haven't seen these videos before, there's a whole playlist of these. These canvases, I have some like this that are square that are 2 inches by 2 inches. I have others that are 2 inches by 2.5 inches. I've got a load of mini master studies up here, but the idea is replicate a large piece of artwork into a tiny form so that we learn something from that piece of artwork. That might be perspective, scale, tone, lots of different things. So, and actually since we're working on such a small canvas, I thought I needed a giant cup of tea. So I've got this one, which is about a pint of tea, decaf. Don't worry, I'm not going to be bouncing off the walls. I've also got my iPad, I've got my proportional measuring device, I've got everything I need to get going. So, let's turn the camera around and join me as we create a masterpiece in miniature. Here we are on my desk, which someone said is slowly becoming a piece of artwork on its own. I think it's just becoming a mess, but that's fine. I have got my scented candle going. I've got my, well, as you saw, my pint of tea over here. Let me just have a quick sip. It's still very hot. And as you can see, on my iPad, I have the piece of artwork that we are doing today. So this is an oil painting by an artist called Catherine Kehoe. I believe this one is called SP Profile. And if I just bring this a bit closer, there you go, the white balance kicks in and you can just see the details on this. So, why have I chosen this piece? Well, I think this piece demonstrates really well the geometry that goes into some paintings. So even though this is an organic shape, it's a profile portrait, it's all done with geometric straight lines. And I'm going to try and replicate this so that I get a better understanding of that geometry. So usually when I do profiles, I'm looking for the flow, I'm looking for the connection between the eye and the ear and the cheekbone and the side of the mouth, and it's very organic and flowy. So this is not usually how I would do a portrait. So that is what I'm hoping to learn from this. Right, as you can see, this is the painting on the iPad. I think this is a 6 by 6 inch painting, so it's not huge, but it's a good size painting in real life. Obviously it's a little bit smaller on the iPad, and then I've got this canvas which is even smaller than that. Actually, that's probably about the right size. Yeah. So, what I'm going to do, I've got this set up already with my proportional divider so that the width and the height, because this is a square canvas of this, relates directly to the width and the height of this. So now I'll go through proportional dividing again quickly for those of you that haven't seen. I do cover this in more depth in other videos, but basically I'm going to look for landmarks on here, so maybe from the edge of the canvas to the front of the shirt here. So now this is in relation to this, it uses the same aspect ratio. So if I go down here, I know that on here this distance is the same as this distance, and that's basically what it does. You're dividing it up. So I'm going to use the fairly neutral palette here. So I think I'm going to use, what have we got here? Yeah, I think this will do. Just a coloured pencil. I'm going to go very lightly and I'm going to start sketching out the design here. Not going to sketch everything in, because actually a lot of it's just going to be done with paintwork. But one thing I really like about this painting is this device in the background. So it's kind of an additional frame around the portrait here. So that really drew me in on this one. So I'm keen to get that in as well. But anyway, enough chatting. Let me get myself set up, zoom in, and I'll start sketching out the picture on here. Okay, there we go. Just a very quick, rough sketch. I know there's going to be some edits that I need to do when I'm actually painting this, but I've not gone in and painted or sketched out every single detail. I'm literally just going in and getting a general idea and getting some of that geometry. It's interesting to note that I said I kind of look for flows between, you know, the cheekbone and the ear, or the corner of the eye and the corner of the chin. And I use very curved lines when I do this kind of painting. And actually, the relationships between these are not that dissimilar. For instance, we've got this line here that goes from the back of the head, kind of almost the crown of the hair, and it actually sweeps all the way down in a nice curving arc to the corner of the nose. So there's other lines in there that I generally wouldn't have thought of putting in beforehand. Actually, I'm thinking, oh, actually, no, that makes sense. So already learning from this piece. There's lots of straight lines as well. There's one here, for instance, that goes from the hairline all the way down through the canvas, and it gives a nice line kind of parallel to this one, which I'm really enjoying. This is a really well constructed picture. So I'm now going to grab my acrylic paints, get set up, and we can start painting this. So I've put this on a black background just so that we can really see what's happening, make it a little bit clearer for everyone. And first thing I'm doing is going in with the white paint, just like an eraser, and cleaning up some of the outside edges just to make it a little bit easier for me as I go through this. So I am intending to do this with kind of a light underpainting first to establish some values, and then I'll go in and really refine it and push some of the tones and bring things darker and lighter and hopefully get it to work. But first thing I want to do is establish this extra framing device, which is the thing that drew me to this picture in the first place. So now that that's in, we can start with really the only patch of blue in this painting, which is just on the back of the shirt there. So nice and easy, just wanted to get that in. Again, underpainting so I can paint over the top of it as we go. And I'm just going to go in and very lightly establish all of the values that I want. I'm being mindful to try and keep it as geometric as possible, but not overly concerned, because I know I can come back and fix a lot of that later. So these paintings are actually very quick to do. I generally spend anything from 15 to 45 minutes on these, depending on how detailed and complex they are. This one's kind of somewhere in the middle, but that's because I'm learning things that I generally don't do and want to learn. So I'm spending a little bit more time in making sure that I'm being meticulous in what I'm doing. I think that's an important part of learning any new skill and developing any skill, is that you're taking time not just to do it but to learn from what you're doing as well. There's a big thing I used to, when I was a teacher, say to people what subject it was, that you should be learning for a reason. Learning just for the sake of learning, the knowledge doesn't stay in your head, so make sure you're doing it for a reason, and make sure that it's fun. I'm really enjoying the process of this painting. Now, every painting goes through an ugly period. The ugly period for this one, I think, stays for quite a while, and I think it's because, again, I'm doing something that I'm not really in my wheelhouse, but also it's a very unusual painting. It's a very dark painting as well, so the contrast is really amped up on this one, which is a little bit more tricky to get my head around. I do get there eventually, at least I hope I do. But yeah, this stays ugly for a while, and it has a lot to do with this big patch of kind of reddy umber paint across the cheek area and going into the neck and almost into the ear as well. There's very hard to see the difference in the tones in that section of the face, particularly when it goes into the hair, and it really makes the ear stand out quite a lot as well. There's some yellow in here as well, so I'm popping that in. But honestly, just having fun with this, what is at the moment an incredibly ugly picture. So I am going to let you just listen to a little bit of chill out music while this painting carries on. There's not much for me to talk about now. It's really just getting on and cracking on with what's happening. I will come back to you at the end with my final thoughts and some nice shots of the finished piece as well. But for now, I will say goodbye and I will chat to you in just a few minutes. There we go, so that took about 30 minutes and then we have this tiny painting. I don't know if it's going to focus very well, but yeah, there we go, not too bad. So is it an exact replica? No, I think the chin could be a little bit longer and the mouth could be slightly different, but that's not exactly the point of doing these exercises. It's to learn something new. And as I said, I really enjoyed the process of being a little bit more geometric with this. It's like using the lasso tool if you're doing portraits in Photoshop or Procreate or anything like that. So really fun exercise. I thoroughly encourage you to go ahead and try your own miniature master studies. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.